We have an update on an injured WWE Champion. Plus, is an AEW title being retired? We'll talk about it. Plus, WWE are bringing back some classic ECW events, quite possibly. It's all in the wrestling news right now. We have tag champs in WWE who are unfortunately going through the wars.
Yeah, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are rocking some injuries at the moment, unfortunately.
Sami Zayn gave us an update on his, it's that bursa sack thing that he's got going on.
Huge.
Big old lump on his bow. He was on the Out of Character podcast of Ryan Satin, and when asked about his injury, he says, I've been battling a lot of little nagging injuries for quite some time. Nothing to the extent that would put me on the shelf. So my elbow is part of a nagging injury that's just kind of gotten a little bit worse over the past weeks, after this past week's heinous attack by JD McDonough, for which there will be revenge. But yeah, there have been some little injuries, but knock on wood, thank God, pretty healthy overall. You start to think about this stuff a little more as you get older, and you've been doing it for 21 years, and you're like, there's definitely not another 21 on the backside of this. You're definitely closer to the end than the beginning. Yeah. So maintaining your health and addressing those nagging injuries, I think that'll become more important. But I still managed to give you a long-winded answer to a very easy question. My elbow's all right, it'll be okay. It's not great, but it'll be okay. I think Sami Zayn writes into the Cultaholic podcast sometimes, because that was a very long-winded question answer session. Gutted for Sami that obviously it sounds a bit bleak when he puts it like that, but there's some truth to it. And you know, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens have been making magic in 2023.
Yeah, they have. And you know, like I feel like Sami Zayn's schedule recently, in terms of at least sort of like how many matches he's been doing over the past few years, I think has rapidly increased quite a bit week to week on WWE TV. And I think, you know, for any wrestler that does it every single week, it is going to rack up, isn't it? Bless him. And I think he's been putting on some of the best matches of his WWE career as well. And yeah, I think it's bound to sort of catch up to you eventually, bless him. But like, he's still on TV, he's still doing his stuff, you know, regardless of his elbow injury. So all the more power to Sami Zayn. What a guy.
Kevin Owens, meanwhile, still recovering from a broken rib. He's been on the shelf for a little while now. He's been to the zoo with his title belt.
To the Penguins.
Yeah.
With the Penguins.
Big league in the Penguins, Kevin Owens.
It looks so good.
I'm excited for Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens versus some Penguins. Survivor Series 2023. Whilst those titles, there's no plans for those titles to be taken off the Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, as far as we know.
Yes.
I mean, you know, you could always argue, but 30 days? Nah, but that rule doesn't exist anymore.
No, I hope they keep them firmly with on.
There's no, unless something dramatic occurs, there's no need to. I think everything's ticking along quite nicely.
Yes.
Without that. And there's no harm in allowing some time for a tag division just to percolate a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, we've seen the Street Profits turning heel with Bobby Lashley, and that's a nice little twist of things. We've seen some good work from the Viking Raiders lately. Alpha Academy are going from strength to strength. We're starting to see more stuff coming through. Obviously, Pretty Deadly are injured at the moment. One half of the prettiest and the deadliest is injured at the moment. But yes, boy, they'll be back.
Yes, they will, boy.
But yeah, there's no harm in letting the division percolate a little bit.
No.
As one championship is not in question, another one is in AEW.
Yeah, so next week on AEW Dynamite, Jack Perry said, and he said this last night too, in a little bit of a segment, a little bit of a video package there. He said, Jack Perry said, because he's the greatest FTW champion that ever lived, he's going to retire the FTW championship. Now, Perry obviously won the title from Hook and has been involved in confrontations with numerous ECW legends such as Jerry Lynn and Rob Van Dam since then. Now, after beating RVD, he says the only thing better than being the best is being the last. Well, I don't think it's going to be the last. I think, perhaps this is where Hook comes back and recaptures the championship, or Taz gets involved somehow to keep the championship rolling.
I think we get Hook Jack Perry at Wembley.
Oh yeah, actually. Yeah, because there's still like a week worth of TV, isn't there, to add more matches onto the card? Could be.
Or do they do it at All Out? Because there's nothing for All Out at the moment, which is a week late.
Could do that as well, yeah.
Wild times. Either way, I like the idea of Hook and Jack Perry and Taz whacking a Taz mission on Jack Perry. I think that's overdue.
I've actually been quite enjoying the stuff with Jack Perry and the FTW Championship. Like things have actually been happening with the championship belt for a change, which feels good. So if they keep sort of rolling this on and making it actually sort of mean something within AEW, I'm all for that.
Now, to the shock of nobody, Rob Van Dam got a bit of grief about appearing on AEW, saying that he was being disrespectful to WWE. Because Van Dam is set to be part of the greater plan for WrestleMania, be part of like the WrestleMania package, because obviously it's in Philly, so they want to do stuff there. So Van Dam's doing that. So a few people were online having a go, going, "Oh, that's, you know, you're doing WWE in April. Why are you jeopardizing it by doing AEW?" And Van Dam says to that, some fans are saying I did WWE wrong by appearing on AEW. I wonder if they will all eat poo if I revealed that I had permission to do it. Or would they just move on to puke out the next meaningless bull poo that comes out of their mouths? Yeah, I figured I'll keep it to myself for now. Very rare moment of Van Dam not being that chilled.
Yeah, well, I mean,
see what you've done, internet.
It's fair enough, isn't it? I guess sort of we as fans and onlookers of this don't know the whole story of everything that happens, you know, backstage and stuff. And
we do.
We do. That's why you should watch the news all the time, because it's correct 100% of the time.
Isn't that right, Kenny Omega?
Whoa!
Just off screen here.
He's just feeding us all this information.
You're right. Oh, don't throw that pen at me, Kenny.
Honestly. Silly boy.
You silly boy.
Silly boy. But yeah.
He's gonna go get a Capri Sun out of the fridge now. So otherwise I'd bring him on. So Jack Perry possibly retiring the FTW title. We're gonna look at 10 WWE superstars on the YouTube channel whose egos ran wild. There's been a lot of conversation about ego and behind the scenes stuff in wrestling over the past week or two, or maybe day or two. Take a look at 10 of them on the YouTube channel right now, and a lovely shiny new list.
Whoa!
Exactly that.
Wow, that's what I said when I saw I went, wow.
Was that what you said when you saw the trademark news for this week?
I absolutely said, oh, whoa, to the trademark news. Are you ready for the trademark news, everybody?
Big trademark, little trademark, cardboard trademark.
Yes, here we go. Earlier this month, WWE filed trademarks on Barely Legal, Hardcore Heaven, Massacre on 34th Street, and Cyber Slam. Obviously, these being classic ECW events.
Does this add to some speculation that maybe in some way or another they might be revamping these events?
I feel like if there's going to be that sort of ECW experience with Mr. Robbel Van Dammel himself at WrestleMania 40, I wonder if on the lead up to that, or at least surrounding that, we get build up to it in terms of like maybe the NXT special events, perhaps sort of building towards things, or maybe it is an experience of maybe you see Rob Van Dam and he's got certain sections from these pay-per-views maybe as well that he's kind of like showing. I don't know, maybe. I don't know, man. I don't know. But I do feel like maybe the NXT sort of special shows could very well have these brandings thrown at them.
I could see them doing that. I like the idea of in the run up to April, to WrestleMania, maybe we get NXT Hardcore Heaven, headlined by Carmelo Hayes defending the NXT title against Ronald Van Donald.
Okay, Tommy Dreamer and Sabu and everybody. Yeah, let's run it back. Go on.
Easy up. That could be happening. Sad they're not bringing back ECW. The Doctor is in.
Oh, why did they not do that?
I know, it's a shame. That was my favourite one. Fraser Porter normally streams on a Friday. He's streaming tonight instead in the absence of Sam Driver. So you can join the arrogance of youth on our Twitch stream at twitch.tv/Cultaholic. We have to ask, 'cause I had a few people ask me when I was on Twitch, young Andrew, your stream with the fan fiction.
That doesn't exist anymore.
I was going to say, has Twitch banned it?
No, Twitch didn't ban it. There was certain fanfics that got sent in, and they were fantastic, by the way. Thank you so much to everybody that sent them in. There was some, shall we say, raunchy ones, and I was a little bit worried about perhaps if people from the office maybe heard the things and would have been like, oh, that's a bit, I don't know about that. So It's off the internet for now. However, at Christmas time, we're going to do another one. So please join us. Join us for the Christmas one. I'll announce that in due time. There's a long time until then. But yes, thank you very much for sending them in and for watching as well.
I was fine with mine personally. I've done far worse things with
Those so
with an
fantastic
aubergine.
Ones. Soggy Pringles, that's all I'll say. Soggy Pringles.
You're back on Monday, aren't you?
I certainly am.
On Twitch. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you're here tomorrow. And we'll have more wrestling news throughout the day at cultaholic.com. Case.
I love you, bye.